Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend as it is today, Saturday. And I wanted to actually discuss this next show, and the name of it is Milf Mansion. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. When you guys hear Milf Mansion, you guys are gonna think there's gonna be a load of bad bitches in a mansion, right? Full of just 30 plus year old women, fine looking women, too, right? Nope, that's not the case. Milf Mansion was actually uploaded back in 2007. Well, it was actually originally released back in 2007, but it was uploaded in 2015 on the website. So the show is basically about this couple, well, not really a couple, but more like stepmother and son who were actually like lasting after each other, let's just say, because when he was like about to go out to go somewhere and he sees like the laundry room kind of open, and when he realized when he picked that was something interesting, so he sees his stepmother like smelling his underwear. Guys, if you guys can confirm to me what's the hype behind smelling someone's underwear. I'm not sure if it's due to the residues from the sweat is what enticing them. I don't know. It goes for the men too. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's the hype of smelling someone's underwear. I think when I first experimented it, I didn't see the hype, but I guess I'm not judging. I'm just want some confirmation based on that situation, right? So he sees her smelling his underwear and she's playing with herself while at the same time, you guessed it, he starts playing with himself too. That was the what kicks your spot for me, because I'm like, so you're watching her playing with herself while smelling your underwear, while at the same time you're playing with yourself as well, which was kind of weird. So the backstory behind the stepmom is because apparently she is in debt to the Totsuya family. So you know the headmaster is going to be Aki, in which I'm going to show you guys the pictures very shortly. But before I get to that, I'm just going to give some context, right? So she was in debt to the family, and in order to keep the house, right? Because apparently the son is the main priority that she's looking after. So she was trying to apply for other jobs, but no one was taking her. Even as far as to go into a corn industry agency that she tried to apply in order to pay off the debt. But instead they come up with an idea to basically buy her, and in exchange that she has to do hard labor, and stay in the home. Not gonna lie, that's not even a house, that's a fucking mansion. And I'll see what they call the show Milf Mansion for a reason. So afterwards, he sees Fumi. Fumi comes in. Oh, right. Let me show you guys the characters involved, right? So first we have Aki, the headmaster of the mansion. Then we have the stepmom, Madoka. Then we have our main character Rio, and then of course we have Fumi as the servant and also lover, and then we have Miss Rico here, which is the half sister, well actually full sister, biological sister. So these are the characters involved, and it all started with that as well. So Fumi comes to his house and he's like, listen, well she's like, listen, your mom right now is working for the Totsuya family to pay off the debt, and this is all the information. I know it, you're young, and at the time, I believe he was about 15 or 16, and he was going high school. And he was like, well, listen, if I only had known that my mom, well, he calls her that, my mom was going through this situation, I would have been able to assist. Is there anything that I can do? So she's like, well, listen, this is beyond my jurisdiction. So what do you suggest? He's like, well, listen, y'all can buy me. I will do the job. I will help my mother pay off the debt that she guys owes you. And she's like, well, okay, well, let me talk to the headmaster and see what she can do for you, okay? He's like, well, I thank you very much nonetheless, because I want to help my mom. So the next day, they come into the home. Not gonna lie, huge palace. I would work there myself if I if I saw my mother going through something like this, I would have done the same thing. I mean, come on. But I digress. So they come to the home, they introduce themselves, and then we see Miss Rico come into the picture. So Miss Rico is like, well, listen, so this is the guy. And actually, let me detour a little bit because I feel like I'm missing out some parts, right? I don't want you guys to miss it out, right? And there'll be some spoilers. So in the beginning of the show, there's Aki and Fumi, making intimacy. They were fucking like dogs in heat. And homie Rio is like literally peeping, and he can't control himself because he hears the moans and screams coming from Fumi, and he was like praising her, telling her that she's this mature, calm, collective 30-year-old. Yes, even though she's a 30-plus-year-old, she acts like a high schooler according to him, right? So as time progresses, bro is rock solid. And after he made a mess using his baby juice all over the friggin' floor, Aki comes in behind the door and sneaks up on him, and he's like, oh, so you're the one making the mess. So she drags him in, then Fumi starts giving him head, then it'll start all sexually and stuff. And she was just watching, and after, oh my lord, they did the R. Kelly on him. All the ones that was sexually encountering him, they did the R. Kelly on him. Yes, reverse R. Kelly, if I had to say so myself. They were all peeing on him. Aki was like, you better swallow every drop. Do not let a single drop out of your mouth. And he was like, yes, ma'am. Say less. Say no more. So this happens, and afterwards, then we get to the real main story of how all this debacle happened. And of course, one day Rico shows up in a Benz. Don't know why, but she comes to visit because apparently she's like, they're like two separate families, but yet they all collabing into one. And afterwards, she tells her, well, listen, Aki tells her, listen, I am the headmaster, not you. I'm the one who calls the shots here. And she's like, okay, whatever. I'm just staying for a couple of days and then I'll be out of your hair. So we get to see Rico talking to Fumi and Rio, and she's like, oh, so you're the guy that I'm hearing about all this time, right? And don't think that, and she hated, I'm not gonna lie, not even hate, she despised this boy's mother. Don't know how, don't know why, don't ask me that. You have to ask the writers that. And they go to the room. So one night he's sleeping, and then Rico shows up and she handcuffs him, taking him to some fuck dungeon, and starts to punish him, whip him, because apparently she hated the stepmom so much that she took out her frustration on the son, which was crazy to me. And then she started to like, yeah, you know the rest. She started to become all sexual and shit. So afterwards, they did all of that. They did it in front of the stepmom. Oh Lord, this is crazy. She does it in front of her, and then he realizes, wait, my mom is here? And she didn't even run. As she was trying to run after her to like console her and shit and explain the situation, Rico stops him and just continues from there on. And each time he's like trying to do his work, he can't even focus properly. And then this is where we get to the true horror, the true nightmare. So apparently Fumi is Aki's half-sister. Don't know how, don't know why. Again, don't ask me that. This is all according to Aki's narration, right? Monologue, basically. Here's the dark side of Fumi. Fumi is like very possessive. She used to hate, well, she had a phobia against men. And ever since they exchanged virginities with Rio, she no longer has that feeling. Like she slowly but surely starts to let go of that phobia of hers. But this is where it gets possessive. So afterwards, when Aki finds out what was going on, she starts to punish Rico and literally like bruise her ego. And not only that, she ruined her dignity. And this is where Fumi went ballistic on her ass and started to beat her, feed her like a slave. I'm not gonna lie, they treat this girl like a slave, a literal slave. At the ending of this, apparently the mansion went into flame, engulfing flames, right? Because when Fumi tells Rio, hey, there's a fire, he gets up and then he sees Rico with a candle, one of those fancy candle holders, and light up the place on fire. So they all go outside, no one's injured. And then Madoka and her had a little conversation and understanding. She tells Aki, listen, I will take full responsibility and I will take Rico with me. So she says she agrees and they go off in this ambulance. Because again, she was severely beaten to the point where she became mentally unstable. And then she goes to explain to Fumi, listen, she's not at fault for burning the house down. It's just that you beat her so severely that she went psychologically insane. And then she tells her, well, you can leave because there's nowhere else to go. I mean, it's just going to take a couple of months for the mansion to be rebuilt and you don't have to worry about us anymore. So she leaves, and then Rio and Aki share their little intimacy time with each other. And afterwards, when they got knocked out, after doing all that session, Fumi pulls up out of nowhere behind the closet, actually, not out of nowhere, behind the closet, and she inserts like this electric baton. I'm not sure what they call it, but I know when you hit someone with it, you get electrocuted or some shit with some volts on it. So she goes and fully well, dog, I'm not gonna lie, when she went in, she went in. She inserts the fucking thing in her, and all you see is just electrical volts just going off. Like it killed her. And that's where it all ended. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, guys, I would recommend you not to go to the Milf Mansion if there is a real life one. But the show was great, the plot twist was amazing, and yeah. Oh, and luckily for y'all uncensored fans out there, yes, it is uncensored. So if you guys want to watch it, the source will be provided on the title. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good one and peace out.